Between Strangers on a Train and Dial M for Murder, right at the beginning of what many consider Alfred Hitchcock's golden age of cinematic thrillers, the master of suspense directed I Confess, a legal thriller centered around a Roman Catholic priest's refusal to break the seal of the confessional. It is not as well known or beloved as some of Hitch's other films, perhaps because if the audience does not understand the absolute sacrality of the confessional, the main conflict seems like it could be avoided with just a few words. However, to a Catholic audience, this film not only deals respectively and innovatively with our sacramental traditions, but also explores Christ-like self-sacrifice and heroism in a powerful way. The film opens with our protagonist, Father Michael Logan, meeting a penitent in the confessional. The penitent, a church employee named Otto Keller, confesses to Father Logan that he has killed a local solicitor during a burglary.
Keller, why are you here this time of night?
I wanted to pray.
Wearing one of Father Logan's spare cassocks in an attempt to avoid suspicion. By an unfortunate coincidence, this solicitor is blackmailing an old flame of Father Logan's, Ruth Granfor, and Police Inspector LaRue suspects Father Logan of committing the murder. Unable to give the police the true identity of the murderer without breaking the seal of the confessional, Father Logan answers questions evasively, attracting more suspicion to himself. As LaRue digs more and more into the circumstances of the case, the more convinced he becomes that Father Logan is guilty of murder. Alfred Hitchcock was a lifelong practicing Catholic and deeply devoted to the sacraments. Because of this, his depiction of Catholic teaching regarding the seal of the confessional is accurate to a fault. It is not often that one sees a Catholic tradition portrayed on film with such scrupulous accuracy. There are no clerical stereotypes, no misunderstandings. Father Logan behaves precisely how the Church teaches a priest should when it comes to confession. Keller watches Father Logan intensely for any signs of breaking, becoming almost neurotic in his fear that the priest will reveal his crime. However, Father Logan does not even treat Keller differently in their routine, day-to-day interactions. He paints a room in the rectory alongside him and gives him instructions concerning mundane housekeeping details. When questioned by Inspector LaRue about the crime, Father Logan answers questions that might reveal Keller's confession with, "I can't say." This response is taken as breezy deflection by LaRue, but Father Logan is deadly earnest. He literally cannot say any more on this subject without violating the seal. Indeed, LaRue does not put two and two together until the very end of the film, finally seeing the true meaning and careful phrasing Father Logan used to preserve the seal only after the true murderer is revealed. Regardless of the consequences, Father Logan remains faithful to his priestly duty. And the consequences are severe. Because Father Logan is unable to reveal Keller as the murderer, his life begins to unravel. He loses the trust of his parishioners, who now see this young priest as violent and potentially unchaste. His regular ministry becomes impossible as his flock grows hostile in their suspicions towards him.
Unable to face a public scandal, you would turn to physical force.
No, I would not.
As the police continue to circle around him, the possibility that he will be hanged in Keller's place becomes more and more real. On the day that the police decide to arrest him, he is faced with three choices: flee the country, break the seal, or turn himself in even though he is innocent. As he ponders these choices, he walks around the hilly Quebec neighborhood of his parish, contemplating the different options lying before him. Montgomery Clift's acting here is superb. The combination of the route he takes, the symbols he sees around him, and the various expressions darting across his face combine to depict Father Logan's Via Crucis, an image made explicit by one incredible Hitchcockian shot composition. If he wishes to save his life, it seems that he must break his vows and reveal Keller's confession. The only other option is to take up the cross and follow the footsteps of the crucified Lord. This option is ultimately the one that Father Logan heroically chooses, turning himself in to the police and facing an incredibly public trial. All of the dirty laundry is aired at this trial. Madame Granfor's unrequited love for Father Logan, the blackmail attempt, an earlier assault that pre-seminary Logan had made on this same solicitor when he impugned Madame Granfor's honor, the fact that a figure in the cassock, really Keller in disguise, was seen leaving the scene of the crime, and especially Father Logan's suspiciously evasive answers. All of this circumstantial evidence points strongly to Father Logan's guilt. However, the jury rightly decides that there was no concrete evidence that Father Logan had actually wielded the weapon which killed the solicitor, and he is set free. His passion is not over, however. The court of public opinion judges him completely guilty. A return to normal parish ministry will be impossible now. Although his life was spared, his reputation and his vocation have been thoroughly sacrificed. As he leaves the courthouse, he is met with taunts and jeers. A mob seems ready to lynch him right there on the spot. Father Logan maintains a stoic silence, a scapegoat walking into the jaws of lions. He has undergone a long, drawn-out psychological and spiritual agony and emerged with heroic integrity. But this heroism is for God's eyes alone. If his oblation must be consummated physically, Father Logan is willing to undergo mob justice for the sake of the guilty. Otto Keller's wife, Alma, has maintained silence about her husband's actions through the whole film, even though he confessed to her the same night as he confessed to Father Logan. Each of these confessors is bound to secrecy by a sacramental vow to Keller. Father Logan is bound by his priestly vows and Alma by her marriage. However, this vow is inviolable only for one. Alma, moved by Father Logan's heroism, breaks her silence and cries to the crowd that Father Logan is innocent.
She's innocent.
Otto Keller, driven to the brink of madness by his guilt and fear, shoots Alma in front of the whole crowd assembled outside the courthouse, causing a panicked rush and a police chase through a Quebec hotel. It is only now, after seeing Keller's crazed reaction to his wife's outburst, that Inspector LaRue begins to doubt his conclusions about Father Logan's guilt and seek an alternative explanation for his evasive behavior. For the entire film, Keller has believed that Father Logan will crack and break the seal of the confessional, bringing him down to the same level of sinfulness as the murderer. Now, holed up in a ballroom, he suspects the priest finally cracked and taunts him, confessing all in earshot of the surrounding police. He is then killed in a shootout with the police, and Father Logan rushes to his side, arriving just in time to hear the dying Keller whisper, "Forgive me." This man, a burglar and a murderer, who tried to pin his crimes on his innocent benefactor to save his own skin, who has been shown in an almost demonic light tempting and taunting Father Logan throughout the film, who abused the sacrament of confession in order to frame a priest, has the audacity in his dying moments to ask once more for forgiveness. Father Logan responds quietly, "Ego te absolvo in nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti." Despite everything Keller had done to Father Logan, the priest still shows Christ to him in his final moments and forgives him for everything. All the lies, the taunts, the abuse that he has borne for Keller's guilt. Father Logan acts in persona Christi to wash these sins away in Keller's final moments. Throughout the entire film, Father Logan practices heroic Christian virtue under the most difficult of circumstances, displaying an ideal of priestly conduct that stands in contrast to the many anti-clerical stereotypes we often see in modern Hollywood films. The internal battle he undergoes while torn between self-preservation and sacred duty ranks as one of the best depictions of such a struggle in classic Hollywood. He is indeed a magnificent Christ figure, an innocent man willing to suffer the ultimate price for the guilty. Some critics do not believe that I Confess stands up to the quality of the rest of Hitchcock's filmography. It has been criticized for revealing the killer too early, which some believe breaks the suspense of the film. The precise rules around the seal of the confessional are not well explained, leading to some to not understand Father Logan's motivations for undergoing this ordeal. And the final moment of forgiveness takes place entirely in the Latin liturgical language of the confessional, confusing those who are unfamiliar with Catholic sacramental ritual. These elements make the film almost inaccessible for an uninformed audience, which perhaps is why it is not as well regarded as some of Hitchcock's other masterworks. However, for a Catholic audience, all of these elements combine to create a truly wonderful portrayal of clerical virtue and Christ-like self-sacrifice. The early reveal of the murderer is crucial. for if we, the audience, suspect Father Logan, his Via Crucis would not hit as strongly. A good understanding of the rules and rituals of confession unlock layers of this film, which make it one of the best portrayals of Catholicism in cinema history. And the suspense and human drama involved keep the audience engaged throughout, even as they portray a Catholic understanding of the fallenness of man, sin, temptation, redemption, forgiveness, and absolution. I Confess is both a great Catholic film and a great Hitchcock thriller. Although the master of suspense did not often allow his faith to overtly influence his art, when he did, the results were truly amazing.